and welcome back to me and the Audi Coupe. And today, as it's such a lovely day, I'm going to take off these Coil alloys and I'm going to put on the wolf race alloys. And the consensus of opinion of 6 people, well 7 including me, is that they should go into a mid-metallic grey. And I've got 3 of them painted here and still got 1 to paint and lacquer. And I lacquer them with this 2K lacquer. And the paint I use is the Coil Spray, because you get a really good finish with the Coil Spray, and it takes the lacquer quite easily. And I'm going to use my little low pressure spray gun so that my compressor can keep up with it. So I'll just get the last one painted, get these Ronals off and get the new alloys on. This car, if you actually jack it high enough in the front, it'll lift the back wheel as well at the same time, which is handy. Stick in these safety devices as well. Spot the wheel nut. When I'm at it, I'm just going to clean the wheel discs and cover the calipers in clear lacquer just to seal them in a bit before I wax the rest of the car. It's gone a bit rusty around here, so I'll clean all that, paint that bit black, silver around the edge, and maybe give that another coat in the black. The front calipers are a bit dirty and they've got a bit rust coming through, so I'm going to spray them with this gold spray that I've got, and just to cover all that, and then I'll lacquer them over the top after that. I'm always on the balance of a Heathcote Robinson method of spraying, because I'll spray the caliper without masking up, but I'll clean off the overspray afterwards on the disc with a bit of emery paper. And finally a bit clear lacquer, so that when it's on the road I can power wash it and keep it clean easier. I've also done the brake pipes and the brake joints, and once all that is done I'm going to eventually Lanoguard the whole of the underside of the car. And Lanoguard is like a wax oil, but it's a lot thinner and it's a lot easier sprayed on the car, and it's something you do annually. There we go, that's that done. Now let's get the alloys on. I've been waiting for this moment for months. My only concern with these alloys, there's about a ton of weight on them. Who's ever balanced these, I don't know if they've balanced them right, but they've got weights over here and they've got a weight over there as well. Surely if you've got weights over here, you need less over here. And they've got 2 rows of weights here, so either the wheel is really badly buckled or the tyres. I know they're sort of good budget tyres, but surely they can't be off that much. The only thing is just to put them on and try them. But anyway, on they must go. Ah, forgot. I've got to clean these now. Before I put the wheel back on, I've got a wee recommendation here. Not that I feel that I'm qualified to do any sort of recommendations, but it's this bit of equipment here. And this is a little tool that you just screw in here, and it helps to put the alloys on. It helps an old guy like me anyway. Just makes it a lot easier. And these are multi-fit alloys, and they're either 4x108 or 4x100. And the 108s, they're just that wee bit further out, so I know which one is which. So I'll put that to the top. But what I forgot to do was put a wee bit grease on the back of the wheel, back of the alloy. Just to stop it sticking to the brake disc and take my lovely painted alloy off. I'll just smother that a wee bit in grease. That should be enough. Right one again. Oh, that's so much easier. This one is not quite so bad. There's only half a ton of lead on the outside. There's one there, and there's one over here as well. So why it would need one there, one down there, I just don't know. Oh, I'm really pleased with those. I think they just set the black off really nicely. Can't see for the sun here. And they're an old sort of style of wheel, being wolf race, but I think they really suit the old Audi. And I think if they were in silver, I think they'd just stand out too much, and definitely not the copper. But the grey is just right. The only problem is now is the back of these Audis sit quite high, and you can see there's quite a gap between the wheel and the wheel arch, and it sits up high at the back, and these Audi Coupes have that sort of stance. So I think I'll jack it back up, and I'm going to have a look at the spring inside here to see if I can shorten it, to see if that's possible. I've had a look online, and there's 3 types of springs that you can get. There's like a flat topped and bottom spring, there's like a coil spring that goes into a smaller coil at the top, and then there's what these are is the normal coiled springs, which coil from all the way down from the top to the bottom at an angle. And I'll show you in a minute when I take this one off, in that these are the ones apparently that you can cut and shorten. So it's jack the car back up, wheel off, shocker off, spring off. Now this coil spring, this is supposed to be a 40mm reduced height coil spring, and it certainly wasn't 40mm reduced on the car, but as you can see, you know, it's an even diameter all the way around, and at the bottom it's the same angle of coil all the way up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut one coil off the bottom and one coil off the top, so that should hopefully reduce it at least 20mm, and possibly a bit more. I'm going in, and I may be some time. That wasn't too bad. The other end. The danger is with these coil springs, if you got too many coils off them, the coil stays rattly in the shocker. So you've got to make sure that once the shocker's bolted up, there's just no play in between the spring and the shocker, because it'll just rattle every time you go over a bump. And I remember I had a BMW Compact. I bought a BMW Compact, and the previous owner to me had he put coilovers. I think they were cheap jump coilovers or something, and it was so low in the back that when you jacked it up, the coil spring fell out. would you believe it? When I was putting this on, the bulb fell into the bulb unit, so hopefully I'll get it out with my magnetic tool. What a pest. Well, that's it. I can't find my magnetic extendable tool, so I'll have to get one at Home Bargains later. Well, that's it down at least 1.5 inches, or maybe 30 millimeters, which is great. And I could get almost 4 fingers in there before, but now I can only get 3 in, which is good. So that's it sitting at a better angle. It's more level. It just gives it an overall better stance. Well, I have to say, guys, I really love the grey. And it really suits the car, I think, rather than the chrome, which no doubt they originally were, and then were turned into black, then into that copper colour. But I think the grey suits the era of the car, and I was worried that the wolf race wheels would be a bit too modern for it, but they actually look quite retro, which I'm pleased about. And the silver grey metallic paint, it was actually a wee bit lighter than this, but for some reason when you spray the lacquer on, they become a bit darker. But I'm not too fussed, they're still okay, and there's no way I'm going to respray them again. And I've still got the original Ronals, and what I'm going to do with these is that I'm just going to keep them. The problem is that they need a complete set of tyres. These are way out of date, although there's plenty of grip on them, but these are cracking. These are about 12 years old at least, so I'm going to keep them, and they're actually not bad a nick. They're a wee bit corroded in the back. Well, I think I'm going to have to cut this video short again today because I'm running out of light. It's a Friday afternoon, I'm self-employed and really I should be working, but what I'll have to do instead is work tomorrow, which is the Saturday. And that's just the kind of thing you've got to do if you want to film, because you can't come out on a rainy day. And I know it's only just a small little channel, you know, I'm working with minimal tools and half a garage, which is not easy sometimes. You know, if I've got to work the car, I've got to take it outside and work on the ground, so the weather's got to be fair. But I'm absolutely determined to expand my channel, and it's quite difficult, you know, filming and doing the actual work yourself, especially if you've got limited tools and equipment and also know-how, dare I say it. As usual, I'm learning all the time, and I really do find them quite testing to do, because I don't have a speech impediment, but sometimes I get my words mixed up, which is quite difficult. It's quite amusing sometimes, especially when the camera's pointed at you. But I really do appreciate your subscription and all the thumbs up. You know, it all helps towards the channel at the end of the day. There's still a few jobs to do in the Audi, which I'm really looking forward to. And as I say, I've got over the worst of it, as they say. But this car is really great to work on. I love working on this car, and of all the cars I've had, it's by far the easiest, because there's no electronics or anything on it. Everything's just all mechanical. And you know, years ago when I had my other Quattro, whenever I took it to shows, people would come up and say, oh, you know, I have one of these, it's the best car I've ever had. And I can totally understand why, you know, because once they're up and running and everything's sorted, they're ultra reliable. And you see some of these doing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles, and I'm sure this one will be no exception. It's sitting on 100,000 at the moment, but it's got a lot of life left in it. But this car, you know, it's a 1989 and it is a proper barn find. And when I brought it out, you know, some barn finds they're easy to fix, and you see videos, you know, like say Johnny the Late Break Show, when they pull them out, they start them. But that's just the start of it. You know, when you get into these cars, almost every job you do either requires, you know, a new part or the old one's fixing, and fixing's what I'm all about. And I try and fix everything that, if I can't fix it, I'll buy a new part, but I always try and fix the unit first. For example, the heater blower unit, which is actually going back onto stage 4, so I'm going to have to fit that new unit after all. Oh, and another thing is that I really love the interaction, you know, when you ask questions or give me advice. I do listen, because there's a lot of people out there who have had a lot to do with these sort of cars and older cars, and the work that you do on them. So please keep asking questions, you know. And if I ever go to a show or anything, please come up and see me. You know, I'm quite an amiable guy, I'm easy to talk to, and I'm really interested in people and people in their cars especially. So, you know, if you see me, just come up and say hello. So that's it now, I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Please keep subscribing, thumbs up, and we'll see you again soon.